Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to bring you the only Void Titan build you'll ever need. This thing is so much fun. I use it all the time, and it feels very difficult to take off because of how universally good this thing is. I can use it across all kinds of content, from PvE, PvP, all that kind of good stuff, and really never have to take it off. So like right now, when dim is down and you don't really need to swap a lot of things for different types of content because you don't want to use the third-party apps in order to transfer everything from one character to another, from one build to the next, etc., then this is perfect for you and you can use it all over the place. Now, I will say that there will be a dim link for this in the comments down below. However, that'll happen once dim is back working and the API is up again. So, jumping into it, I am running the Void Titan with Ward of Dawn. You got your shield throw. I like the shield throw a lot. I think it's better than a lot of people realize, especially if you're hitting enemies and granting an overshield for each target hit. This build will help you stay alive all the time because of the amount of overshields that you'll get. Vortex grenade, very, very good. Really takes care of mobs of enemies really easily, and I love it, especially combined with controlled demolition, which I think is fantastic. And then Bastion, again, more overshields the better. My fragments are going to be Echo of Leeching, so that way I'll start regenerating health from melee final blows, which is easy to do with common adds. Then we've got Echo of Instability, which defeating our targets with grenades grants volatile rounds. This is great for running void weapons. And then we've got Echo of Undermining to weaken enemies with your void grenades. This is really helpful for bosses. Now for this one, you can run a lot of different weapon types, but the armor is the key. So I'm gonna go over the armor first. We've got Heart of Inmost Light. That is the #1 insane exotic. I wouldn't be surprised if for the Lightfall expansion we do see this nerfed. But for now, it's the best Titan exotic. You can use it in any kind of content, and it's very viable. And you can use it across all kinds of subclasses as well. It's just incredibly useful, especially if you build into melee or grenade builds with the Titan. So that's what I have. Some of the mods that I'm running: Font of Wisdom, Kinetic Siphon, you can run, but I was actually swapping off into Harmonic Siphon, which is really nice, especially if you're leaning into the void build aspect of it, so you can generate a lot of orbs. I'm running Unstoppable Hand Cannon. Doesn't work, but you can run it. That's what for this particular content that I was running, I needed Unstoppable Champions, but obviously Unstoppable Hand Cannon isn't working at current. But that's why this build is very, very flexible, because you can swap in and out the weapons as long as you have void weapons or the ability to use void weapons, and I'll explain that in a second. I'm also running, like I said, Melee Wellmaker, Font of Might, Energy Diffusion Substrate, Void Defense Resistance. We've got Absolution and Elemental Ordnance, and then Elemental Armaments. Lord Kelvin's Basilisk, in case you need Overload champions taken care of with your Void Grenades, and Monochromatic Maestro, which is insane. Now, where this build really comes together for what I was using for this particular type of content, I am running a Judgment Hand Cannon that has Demolitionist and Osmosis. Now, Osmosis is fantastic, underrated perk for me personally. Using your grenade ability changes this weapon's damage type to match your subclass. That means if I'm running Void, right, and I want to have a Void Hand Cannon, say I have a type of content with match game, for example. I want to have the volatile rounds, I want to have the void weapon buff, but I don't have the ability to run multiple types of energies because of the different shielded enemies. So you can run Osmosis and it works out fantastic. This Judgment with Osmosis works really, really well. The synergy with Demolitionist is perfect. I love it. It is something that I think a lot of people should be looking into, using this type of weapon with Osmosis all the time. I was also running a new Glacioclasm with Repulsor Brace. Again, more overshields and Reservoir Burst. This is a role that I know a lot of other people like Subsistence and Reservoir Burst. I do like that as well. However, when you get into harder types of content, I threw on a major spec, and you might want the repulsor brace so it's versatile. You can explode enemies and damage all the enemies around them, but also you can generate that overshield if you're in danger. And we all know that staying alive is very, very important in endgame content. So that's why I like the repulsor brace. Reservoir burst roll a little bit better, even though subsistence and reservoir burst may synergize a little bit better, especially in easier content. For this, I was also running Leviathan's Breath. Since the the unstoppable hand cannon is not working, I ended up throwing on Leviathan's Breath. It does the job, although had I been able to use the unstopped hand cannon, I would have actually run something like Two-Tailed Fox. Maybe if I need additional shields. Grand Overture is very, very good right now, and I think does a lot of damage, and you can mix and match. Like I said, if I wanted to run, say, a solar fusion rifle and an arc heavy weapon, or vice versa, you can really mix those, and you're not going to receive all the benefits of the void buffs that you would like on your heavy weapons and that kind of thing. Before games that have modes that have match game and harder shields to break, having a variety of weapon types is very, very nice, and you can kind of play around it, especially, like I said, if you have an osmosis primary. So that's just where I feel like this build really shines. I think you can take it into all kinds of different content, and it's, in my opinion, the best of the void builds right now. I've experimented, you've seen on the channel, I run different void builds with like second chance and some other options as well, but this is the best one if you just want one to use across, from raids and dungeons to nightfalls, PvP, Gambit, anything like that. So that's why I wanted to make this video. I'm going to have more builds on the channel going forward. Heading into Lightfall, this is a build that if they don't nerf Heart of Inmost Light, this is one that I will take something very similar into the new raid once Lightfall does drop. So that's just why I wanted to make this, because I feel like there's a lot of content that's going to be changing how difficult it is. Like the legendary campaign, for example, this is a build that is perfect for it. All the overshields allows you to stay alive all the time, and I think for a legendary campaign, this is going to be something that works out phenomenally. Again, I might mix and match some of my weapons, but the build itself stays very much the same, and I've been using this for some time, so I wanted to make the video on it. Like I said, I'll have more videos on builds that I'm going to be using in Lightfall going forward, especially some speculation builds on things that I think will be very good, that will definitely be tinkered with once we know what's getting buffed and nerfed. But I feel like Heart of Inmost Light is definitely going to get looked at, and if that is the case, if it does get nerfed, we are going to see a wide variety of different builds be viable at that point and have to take the place of the Heart of Inmost Light, because it is currently the strongest in the game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, helps me out tremendously, shows you want to see more content like this from me. I'm going to have a bunch of Destiny 2 content. I know it's kind of a point in the year where we're all gearing up for Lightfall, and there's not a whole lot of fresh new stuff to do. However, I feel like prepping for Lightfall is going to really put you on the front foot heading into the new expansion, because that's going to be a time that is going to be tremendous in Destiny, I would imagine. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. My name is JoPaWrites, and I'll catch you all later.